I don't want to hear about facts.
You're just so wise, Willie.
Okay.
No,
Facts.
I have a high intelligence.
Facts
My
have
wisdom
no
stat is very
place in this television
this.
show.
I don't
low.
like
The day
what
of
you
my
said,
daughter's wedding.
because that doesn't suit my narrative.
Tesh is mixing a brew.
I'm mixing a drink.
All right. Voss, are you heading to your place to make a speech?
I'm gonna put the head in a bag, so that it's not visible when I'm walking back.
Yeah.
And
Classic head bag.
yeah, everyone's gotta have a head bag. Just
I
a
have several.
bloody burlap sack that everyone's got around.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna chuck it in there for the time being, and then I will go back to the school. First thing I'm gonna do actually is go up to Kikiwa and just ask her how things are going. I mean, I've been gone for like a day, but
You go. See Kikiwa. Your little mini settlement within a settlement is seemingly going well. She looks a little flustered and says, "There's some people here to see you."
are they here now?
They're not here. They're lurking.
Who is here?
I don't. There's a scary woman and a samurai.
You guys are all clapping. I still don't know who's.
It's a fam jam!
No, this is perfect because Voss literally doesn't know. who they're talking about. Just like a scary woman and
scary
a samurai. That's the amount of people I know who that could quantify is insane. But okay, where are they?
They left. I told you they're lurking.
Are they coming back?
Probably when they said they would. I said you weren't here, and they said, "Okay then," and left.
All right. Well, I shall prepare for the worst. Should they return and attempt to challenge me to a duel or some such nonsense. In the meantime, I would ask that you send a few runners to gather as many in the courtyard as possible. I have something to show the people of Narashiro. That happened.
People are gathered.
I
Yeah.
would like to make a point of noting that as this happens, I specifically don't take a short rest and clean the blood off of my armor and like heal myself.
Cool.
Um,
Neato burrito.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go up on by our old giant rock of infallible beliefs and just kind of wait until everyone gathers around.
Yep.
And then just address the crowd and just say, so, there has been some level of misinformation and confusion surrounding recent events. It's a very confusing and dangerous time. But what I bring to you is irrefutable evidence of who is responsible for what has happened to our city and our people. And I'm going to reach into my head bag and pull up and hold aloft the severed head of a sun elf.
There are gasps and jeers from the crowd.
I just love the concept of this because it's like this is a thing that like some people probably don't even believe really exists.
It's the boogeyman.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more accurately, it's like the Jesus boogeyman.
It's
Very
like just
religious boogeyman.
Jesus. Yeah. So I'll continue holding the head aloft as I speak and just say, behold, look upon the face of those who would try to destroy us, and look upon the face of those who have fallen upon my blade, and then just let that sink in for a moment, and just say, we face real, living devils. However, they can be killed. They do bleed. And by uniting, we will remain unbroken. And then I'm just gonna like find a spear or something and like mount the head on it and just leave that over there for a while.
You know, everyone's got a courtyard spike, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that we definitely have a court.
Yeah,
we do
you
now.
definitely do.
Just, like,
I'm not
grab
joking.
a spear from like a guy and plant it.
Yeah, there's more big dick energy there.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep the mouth aloft so we can.
Oh yeah.
Ask
don't
him some
worry.
questions
I'm not
later.
destroying it. Just
Cool. No, I know. Just make sure that
Impaling it.
the mouth.
exactly.
Go up to the spear. Okay, now we're gonna ask you some questions.
What? Is your
Anyways,
name?
and with that, I'll just basically say to everyone, you know, now I must retire for the day and clean the blood of these degenerates from my blade and armor. And I would encourage you all to think about the future of our people and to ready yourself for the coming storm. And then I'm just going to go into the part
Pull
of the
the
school
door
where I
shut.
can go do that thing I said I was going to do.
Rest. Tend to your wounds. As you do, a dark smoke billows into the room. It takes the form of your aunt.
As it does.
As it does. This is like 10 minutes later.
Yeah.
With a ever so slight smirk on her face, and the face of Lady Fyra. Sun elves.
I'm assuming at this point I'd probably be sitting on the ground meditating, so I'll just look up to her and nod and just be like, I was wondering when you would arrive.
You need not wonder anymore.
I suppose so. It's good to see you.
It seems that there may be more pressing matters than a wedding currently.
Yes. There are few things I would consider more pressing, but one need only look around to see all of those things and what they may be.
Sun elves.
Yes.
Creatures of light. It is our duty to seek them out and destroy them.
As I have done. With the aid of my companions, we fought two of them. One whose head you see outside. The other is currently with my bride-to-be. Being questioned, I imagine.
Ah, yes. I see you're doing quite well, given the circumstances of Narashiro.
As well as can be expected. Truth be told, I'm merely trying to hold together what aspects of our people are worth saving.
Correct. We can make much out of the damage that has been done.
It will take time, but I believe that to be the case. There are many complications, as there always are, despite the fact that the vast majority of those that inhabited the High City have been eradicated. I feel that the political landscape has never been more complex than it is now. There are those who still wish to cling to the old ways and to those gods that have failed. But they're not unreasonable. I believe all of us want the same thing. which is a unified and strong people.
We have not fallen into a new age of blood, which is good. The strongest of people would be those led by samurai destined to lead. This is a chance to finally rid usurper elves from the grip of the church into more capable hands.
I agree.
Good. Then this little place and these people you have set up here will make an excellent first step as we move forward.
Agreed. That was my intent.
She will nod and will open the door behind her and walk out.
As right before she leaves, I will just say, is Rokos with you?
Yes. We were coming for a wedding, but it turns out we're staying for a coronation.
I'll just give her a bow to that. And just say, please rest. And I will motion towards the best chambers that are here, which is pretty much just going to be like another empty room that's probably just cleanest because no one really uses it. I'm just saying, please tell Rokos that once he is no longer weary from the road, I would wish to speak with him.
Okay. Excellent. Now is time for sleep.
Thank God.
Sleep.
What would you like to do come morning? Another rainy morning in Narashiro. You're up 2 heads. That's all I got. What are you doing? What's up?
Well,
Yeah. I mean, I still would have slept at the school, I think.
Okay.
It's
Not
actually
knowing that
funny
my spare room has been given away.
because I was just about to bring up the fact. I was like, I actually would go back to the house to find Yuna. So
Oh, that's why you do cross
Excellent.
paths.
like bump into
Yeah.
each other going,
keeps passing in the night.
it's been so busy. Like we just have been, shit's been going haywire. This is, I feel, the first time we've actually had a second to just like confer with each other. Basically.
That's great. I would have been bringing the head with me too.
I would have been bringing the other head to bring to you.
If you
Wonderful.
have the,
Adorable.
hell,
This
it's
is
creepily
like
adorable.
so
Yeah.
adorable in the most twisted fucking way imaginable.
Are you about to say
Oh.
also Rofi's there?
Or I was gonna say that would be funny. I was gonna say if you have the spell slots available, I would like to re-put haste in a jar and give it to
I
Voss
have
again.
no spell slots available.
Okay. then
Do you
we'll
realize
that
what
another day.
happened? Yeah. You had a big ass
No,
fight.
no. The next
Do you
day.
want a first level spell slot?
It's
Okay.
not the next day yet.
Oh, I thought we sleep. Okay, my
We
bad.
were going to, and then these two wanted
No.
to do a meet cute.
Yeah,
Pay attention,
I forgot-
Tej. I know it's early in the morning.
I feel like what Vasa does, as we just like see each other, he's just gonna drop the head on the ground and just walk up and give you a big old hug.
Oh. I return, I'll give you a kiss.
And just say,
I was just coming to meet you. We
I
shouldn't
was-
really separate, just in case, you know, the Weavers try something or, you know.
exactly. I was just coming to meet you, in fact.
Oh, good.
It's been a tumultuous few days, to say the least. My family is here, by the way.
Oh, good. Well, you
Yeah.
shouldn't have them stay at the school.
To be completely honest, I feel that they will be most comfortable at the school.
Oh,
Which is not a slight against the house. It is more so an observation of their nature.
I think Draco had all kinds of plans for their accommodations.
Well, I hate to disappoint him. And under normal circumstances, I'm sure that they would happily oblige to whatever.
Can we at least send Rakos to like the fancy hotel?
Rokos.
Yes.
Because
I'm
I feel like
sure
that would be quite funny.
It would be an interesting experience
It
for
would
him.
be.
And I'm sure your brother would enjoy that very much.
Okay. Well, let's go back to the house then. I'll grab your hand. I'm gonna like
Sure.
pull you.
And as we start to
Pick
kind
up
of
that
walk,
head.
I'll just go, oh, almost forgot. And I'll just turn around and just like scoop up the head and put it in the head bag.
Very important. I was able to get information from the other one. I'll kind of fill you in on those details.
Yeah.
As we're walking.
I'll just nod and say, very interesting. I would be curious to see what this one has to say. But I do appreciate you allowing me to take it for the time being.
Of course.
The people in the district seemed both fascinated, appalled, terrified, and empowered by what they had to see.
I have to say, I'm a little unnerved with how many non-elven allies they seem to have had, including a couple that I suspect are from our world.
Yes. Just as I said long ago, our enemies are great, and they are anyone who is not us. And unfortunately, it would seem that there is little we can use in the way of trust among those who live in the Underdark.
I think at the very least, to do due diligence, we should talk to the mermaids and question why one of their own was attacking us.
That would be wise. It could be very possible that it was a renegade, much the same way the Ronin was a renegade to our people. But it is also possible that there were more complex schemes at play. I would very much like to know which it is. But that can all wait until tomorrow.
I'm so glad your family's here.
Both my aunt and my brother will be a great asset to what we hope to achieve. And also a comfort in their own way. Maybe more so to some than others. Like your brother, for instance. He seems quite infatuated with Rokos.
Yeah, that's kind of cute.
I don't think Rokos has ever had a partner, so this is sure to be entertaining at the least.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they don't have that we do is a psychic connection, or more so, I guess, your ability to literally read my thoughts and feelings.
It does come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I
can
have to try
imagine.
for questions. It would just be so much.
Most definitely. Which they do not have, so I personally am looking forward to many awkward family dinners.
Mm-hmm. Particularly because we can read their thoughts.
This is true.
I don't
This
have
is true.
boundaries.
And that is one of the many things that I enjoy about your company. Where I feel sometimes I may have too many boundaries. But that doesn't matter
Okay,
with you at
because-
all.
Exactly. I just ignore them.
It just works. Next time on extremely unhealthy relationship advice from bots.
One of
You
them's
know
a
what, though? I feel like
necromancer.
this
One
is-
of them's a dragon.
I feel like Yuna's read thoughts is the equivalent of being like, let me see your phone. It's like if you make the save, it's like, why won't you tell me your password? Like, just let me see it. Like, what do you have that you don't want me to see? But boss is just like has a flip phone and doesn't care. He's just like, yeah, here, look at my Motorola Razr. read my one text to my brother 3 years ago that says, "See you on Friday."
All right. Bedtime. Swoosh into the future. Future swoosh achieved. Now it is tomorrow. What would you like to do today that is tomorrow in Narashiro
Would
right now?
like to interrogate the Ronin.
It's not funny when you do it. It's funny when I do it.
I would like to be present for that interrogation.
I will invite everyone
It'll be
down
really funny the
to
third
the
time.
dungeon.
Down to Rackass
A
Dungeon.
group interrogation?
Think
I'm gonna
of it more as an
It's
interview.
like it's
tea
family
in the
bonding time.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Torture time! Okay. When you would head down to the dungeon, the Ronin would be awake and meditating. I assume she was stripped of her things.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The usual precautions taken.
Check for
Nothing-
magic items.
Nothing excessive though. Like I haven't done anything like to harm her ahead of time.
No.
It's
The
very
basic,
much
the
just-
basic chores you need to do.
Yeah,
When you're keeping a
exactly.
prisoner, take their armor, take their weapons, make sure they don't have anything they could kill themselves with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast 3 spells going into this. One I'm gonna give Rakath Sense Emotions,
Okay.
and I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. Ronin is sitting meditating.
Okay.
In a very samurai-esque, the way most samurai meditate is a little different to most traditional elves. Her body is coated in scars and scratches and burns, some from magic, some from blades, some from monsters, especially the Ronin brand right here, which is always on show. The other injuries, less so. Which immediately would tell Rakath that she gets into a lot of fights and doesn't usually have a healer or assistant or anything, which does, give you a nugget.
So I will actually activate the sense emotions, I guess.
Okay. She is slightly anxious, more wary. Anxious is like the wrong word, but yeah, wary.
Reticent.
Yes?
It means to be slightly concerned, but mostly paying attention to.
That's
the
also me
surroundings.
when I'm on Reddit.
Sure.
Reddit's
Reticent. Yeah.
Reddit
so,
sense.
yeah. I'd like to use my Reddit sense. I'd like to see porn
going to-
and cats, please.
be taking her out, sitting her down in the chair. I'm not actually going to be shackling her to the chair.
Okay.
But there's no weapons or anything within reach other than the ones on
Yeah.
our persons.
I mean, she is the sort of samurai breed of drow. She is a muscled woman. She nowadays you'd probably be able to take someone on like that in a fight. Maybe days before when you're younger in your career. But she doesn't try anything.
Yeah.
She does, as her hands are unshackled, adjust her hair. But that's all.
I'm just going to motion for her to sit, basically, which I'm assuming she does.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to sit across from her and just sit down and
She's
just
gonna
look at
stare.
it.
She's gonna stare back.
I'm not really staring. I actually have
She's
a look of I have a look of almost just sadness on my face right now.
All around me are familiar.
And it's just I'm sad to see someone be in this state, basically. Look, which I'm purposefully showing that as much as possible. I'm not hiding it. I'm genuinely letting my emotions show with it. In case she tries to insight or anything, it's very easy at this point. So I'm going to look to the group around me and then just say, before I begin, does anyone else have any questions?
No questions, but here you go. And I'll slide her like some little like tea cakes. A little thermos full of tea.
Ooh, she will actually take the tea. And drink, you know.
I have like a little picnic blanket set up.
Yeah,
Or like
picnic in the dungeon.
on the other side of the
She wasn't kidding when she said she was grabbing snacks. This is
Yeah, no.
important.
And I'm just like I'm divvying out snacks to the rest of the group to eat while this happens.
She will, you know, say a very traditional, like, something I don't even think Voss would say, because it's his family's deviant as well. But, you know, a traditional samurai is like, it would be an almost ancient drow elf saying, there's like, thank you to the house, sort of thing. And then put that aside. And say, what do you want with me?
Last time you and I spoke, you were angry, agitated, ready to strike at my friends. And then, shortly after, well, here we are. You know the circumstances that led here. I don't need to recount them to you.
Then the circumstances have definitely changed.
Have they?
I have no reason to be loyal to Tanuma anymore. I know not where she would be. I may have some ideas of where she might run off to. But I had no particular allegiance to her.
I'm gonna be writing down like all of her surface thoughts. Kind of like stream of consciousness while she's saying that.
Yeah.
Do we have like locations pop up in mind or?
Ooh, that's very valid. She says, places I would have thought.
Good catch.
Mom nibbling on my tea cakes.
I'm gonna get you to put one of those detect thoughts in a jar so I can use it, because I might recognize places.
Yeah, I could do that, or I could just be like encoding thoughts as we're doing this. So
Yeah.
That works too. Yeah.
Encoding thoughts.
Yeah, that's basically.
And like
you
so,
could-
Ropey's like
same
running
thing.
through it.
We
The
have a
jar might
telegraph
explode. Ticker.
Yep.
She does think of a couple of places. One being sort of like a mountainside. Another being sort of, it almost looks like an underwater cavern. But there's repeated thinking of a teleportation circle. You know, she thinks the teleportation circle would be clear. Core. I was completely thrown off whatever the topic of discussion was with the detect thoughts. What did you ask her, or vice versa?
What did I asked her just, have they? And it was about the circumstances having changed, and she was essentially just describing her position at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so it was your next, all right.
yes.
Why did you join with her in the first place? What
Circumstances.
was her role?
I'll be very plain. I'm good at leading people. I want to lead people. The Weavers were the only army I could muster. I don't want to... If you want a puppet in government, a puppet shogun, will do whatever you say, you could make no better choice. than I. And to detect thoughts, you know, she seems pretty legit about that. A lot of greed, but like it's a kind of reserved greed. A little bit of occasionally you see flashes of the Church of Ivrith symbol. But she kind of like confidently sits back at that. Not entirely believing you'd accept it, but
what's the emotional state behind her saying that? Is she feeling like content with that, or does she feel
she's content, like very similar to like, okay, I've just made my move in a game of Trader's Run. It might not be a winning move, but I have made it.
Can I roll insight on her? So I'm
Sure.
not even saying anything this whole time. I'm just basically just trying to size up her situation here.
That's a good insight. I mean, you know people like this who you know, want to be it's a hard one. It's a hard one to give you anything I haven't already said already, I guess.
Yeah. She wants the glory.
She doesn't seem to be lying. It would kind of like you could see the jumps that she would have made to basically continue having some kind of army, some kind of force.
I'm gonna sigh at that. The Dai Mao had puppets. I don't want puppets. I want people who can think for themselves. Don't you want more for yourself than that?
I'm surprised you would want to free someone that has wronged you to their own will.
I mean, if my pool of friends were limited to the people I haven't wronged, I don't think I'd have any friends.
It also heavily depends on what that person's will is. We have slain many and released few, but the few we have released have
We
been
do so consciously.
aligned with us. Exactly.
Ultimately, I think our people deserve more than a puppet.
You're playing Traitor's Run right now. You're trying to make a move that you think will appease so you can move your position. I understand it. Do you play?
Of course. I was a samurai once.
It's one of my favorite games.
I can tell. I
What did you
suppose
do?
I expected you to be different. But I suppose we live in strange times.
What did you do to find yourself a Ronin, branded and cast out?
Killed the wrong individual. They wanted to control me, they made me a slave. This is why I have some rapport with the Weavers.
And yet you offered up control. That concerns me. Why?
You
Was it
kept me
for
alive
survival?
for a reason. Yes, yes, of course it's for survival. I do not want to die. I assumed you were the type of warlords that would accept someone who is of use to them. I assumed that was why I was still alive.
Just because you wouldn't be a puppet doesn't mean you won't be of use. We want the survival of Drow.
We also, I point to my own visage, aren't exactly the traditionalists.
Raise the helmet.
My concern is that at this point in time, this city is divided. We as a people have been separated, set upon, made to be on the defensive. And everyone has their own defensive mechanisms. Some retreat, some return to their own faith, some push themselves into a deep dark hole and try and hide away from it all. We're actors. We move. We try and do things.
My people had a similar event, similar scale happen, and we all went different ways. Some tried to maintain the old ways, some tried to make new ways, some left, and it didn't work. Without unification, it collapsed.
So, realistically, our minds, of course, first went to how do we control this entire situation? How do we make sure that everyone is under the exact same path? I even suggested that we kill all the leadership. I regret that. It's a rash thought. It's neglecting the priestess in Trader's Run. Moving the dragon forward too rashly. Would have been a mistake. Instead, what we have now is we have people working of their own free will, based on the actions that have taken place, based on the understandings of our society, and we are moving towards a unified people by choice, by free will. And that will include the free will of those who have once been put in chains.
You want real change?
Yes. We want for this city and this society to thrive. And it can't do that under its old rule. And it can't do that with people backstabbing and killing each other. And it cannot do that with a traitor like Tanuma leading people. And that's what would have happened had she come back.
Her plan was not to lead. She wanted to make a council.
Yes, I know.
But you might be right. I cannot see the future.
No, but well, and he'll look over to Yuna. Can. And Tanuma is one of the most arrogant betrayers. She believed she was right in everything she was doing, and that is more dangerous. We don't believe that we are always going to be right. We believe we are going to make mistakes. But we believe we're always going to be moving in the right direction, because we all move. We all make the decisions. Every one of us. So we don't want your immediate followerness. We don't want you to follow us blindly. We want you to make your decisions. But we want you to do it with actual, true change in your heart. We want you to do it because you want to do it. And if you don't, well, then you'll be one of the ones that we wouldn't free. It's very simple. What do you want, really, deep down?
Really hoping that Yuna is going to be detecting these thoughts as much as possible, and I would like to know what emotions she's feeling in this moment.
Absolutely. I just don't want to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Emotion. What
I
a
would like to be insightful.
strange phrase.
Mm.
What emotions? Someone could go through very many emotions.
They could. Just the prevailing one.
She's thinking. That's already an emotion. So for Yuna, there's a lot of thoughts fluttering through the head of how to best take control of the situation. There's a little bit of surprise, but that doesn't go all the way up to the surface. But yeah, she's thinking. She's very deep in thought, going through a lot of thoughts about. And Trader's Run is the best way to describe it. She does kind of think of the situation like a game. If she agreed with this, then what moves could she make? What would be best for her? Now, what is... Well, let me ask you a question.
By all means.
What are your allegiances to Cato? Of all the parts of the city, there is Cato, the old nobility, who I believe would have a hard time bringing in much real change, but then there are you, whatever that represents. And then there are the Weavers.
Believe in Cato. I believe in her ability to change. I believe in her ability to accept other people. The way she accepted us, the way she accepted Rakath. She fought for us. She put her life on the line for us.
I believe in her as well.
She does not do that lightly.
What I will say is that I agree that there are the people who may have a hard time following, but Cato is currently the leader there. And with her leadership, I do believe that there can be change. But I don't believe it needs to be said that that doesn't go unchecked. We all move together. We all have to communicate together. Each other in check.
What the words you say and the words Tanuma said, they're very similar. But there is one piece of information that makes you far more appealing. You aren't trying to make some kind of connection with a surface world of traitors.
No. We have,
Hey, this time he looks more to Voss.
a different idea for the surface.
I would, at this point, just kind of get up, go to her, and just get to, like, eye level. And just look directly into her eyes.
You are sitting on my lap right now.
Yeah,
is
that's
what you're
fine.
doing.
Like, literally, that's fine. Yeah.
No!
Like,
Not in the torture room!
My emotion.
I'll just twerk a little bit for Rakkath's enjoyment while I do this. But that happens off camera.
Don't worry about that.
It's canon that Voss is dummy thick, by the way.
It
Not
is canon. That's-
No.
I believe I have said many times, look at that ass.
He's
when
got a
saying
36
Voss.
No, you don't need to be thick to have a good ass. You're just falling to the
let me just
TikTok
say-
persuasion.
That ass, though, is dummy thick.
Voss canonically has a 38 waistline and 1% fat. So do with that what you will. Anyway. But
Canon has been changed.
yeah,
I do not change it any
aside.
further.
That aside, wow, it's gonna be so hard for me to deliver this fucking.
I'm so sorry. I'm
You
not
did
sorry at
this
all.
to yourself.
I did.
It's true, but it was worth it for the bit. Anyways, okay. So at that question, I'm just gonna kind of, or that comment rather, I'm just gonna kind of get up to her and look her in the eyes and just say, I would see the sun blotted out from the sky in every possible interpretation of the phrase. And I just want to see her reaction to that.
She licks a sharp tooth and looks directly at Rofi. And then looks at Voss and said, we tried that. It didn't work once. I doubt it will work again.
I'm gonna just tap Voss on the shoulder, get him to scoot.
Yeah.
With my memory, do I know if it was sabotaged or did it just not work?
It was sabotaged. It worked.
Oh,
it was sabotaged. It was stopped.
Then I was, it would have worked. It was stopped. Someone stopped it.
And might I add, even if we get up there and enact some retribution, I think our people will be happy with that. And after all, we need a leader.
Who now has
Lead the
intimate
charge.
understanding of the Sun Elves and their weaknesses.
Precisely.
But it would be very valuable to the Treaty of the Deep, which, if Tuma took charge, would no longer stand in any which way. We most likely have a few more days before representatives from the Deep Dwarves come and realize that something has happened, maybe even longer before the Ebamari.
Ah, this is where we come in. We have connections.
Here's the thing. We're diplomats. First and foremost.
Can't you tell?
Which is why I haven't stabbed you in the throat. Among many other reasons, I actually quite like you so far, to be perfectly honest. I think that even though you are driven by self-preservation, and in some senses greed, and in some senses arrogance, I do believe you actually want what's good, even if it's just for you. And I think glory might be one of those things. I think that is honestly one of the main values that this society is held to. Bringing yourself up, carrying yourself out of the gutter, and bringing you back to the forefront of society. And I think you can do that. I think that is exactly the kind of leadership that some people need.
It would be a horrible waste to merely cut you down.
I have no intention of that today.
The people would have a hard time accepting the Weavers, unless as an army to the Treaty of the Deep.
Yes.
They would be given rights of a sort.
Yes, they
A
would.
purpose.
Indeed.
And to all the nobles sipping fungus champagne can say, well, what does it matter?
Precisely.
They can think they've made the correct choice, that they've made a big difference. I could say I can see this working very well.
I am going to reach out to some of my contacts.
I do
Well,
wonder
Sorry.
what house do you, or did you rather, belong to?
You are from House Nor.
Correct.
There was a time where members of your family disagreed with the teachings that you had, and some went away to start their own order, a little
This
more
is true.
loyal, but also willing to sell their abilities for a price. I was of them.
At that, Voss will just kind of smirk. He's just like, when we fought, I knew there was a reason you did not go down as easily as many other samurai have encountered.
She looks to Rakath and says, will I be continuing my stay in your pleasant accommodation?
For the moment, until we can settle things up. It would be a shame to move the dragon too quickly.
If you agree, I would like to probe deeper into your mind. But
It can help bring things out that sometimes even you forget.
I mean, if you say no, it'll happen eventually, I'm sure. I just had to wait till a day where the,
Very well.
shine in my favor. Cool.
Look into my mind.
I'll probe deeper with detect thoughts.
While she's doing that, I'm just going to write some notes to the contacts I have.
What are you looking for?
I just kind of want to verify things she said are true. And also, I want to see how she fell from being a samurai.
What she said are true. I mean, there's of interest would be the kind of conversation she had with Tanuma. They were often quite a few sun elves in the room. They're swarms of diplomats. You see Tanuma with a seemingly young sister. That sister being taken, going willingly through that teleporter with some of the sun elves to somewhere.
We should have killed the little one.
Always got to kill a little one.
I said so months ago.
Yeah, you did. It's true.
You did, yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. You called it.
The fall from grace was directly connected to the Slave Keepers Guild. The memories are shaky, as often something that's mildly traumatic. It's not like a proud memory. Like, she's proud of being a Ronin now, but the actual event that caused it, less so. For some reason, and it's literally on, like, a beetle journey, she cut them down. The emotions going through her in that moment were very, like, this person deserves it.
She cut down the slaves, or?
She cut down the, seemingly a slave keeper.
Okay.
Sort of a noble from that guild. And was pretty much enslaved by them for it, while also being a Ronin. Often Ronin are cast out, just, okay, you're exiled. But they branded her, the state branded her, and then was like, yeah, you can keep her. So she was a slave for a little while before she could break out, and then do Ronin things.
In return, I am going to hold my hand out for hers. And I'm going to run a encoded thought to her of Torum and the things he went through and the guilt that I felt for not acting more.
She doesn't say anything, but for the first time her eyes soften a little bit.
I'll kind of just pat her hand and then back away.
I will just at this point kind of look to Rakath and Yuna and Rofi and just say, we should talk.
Agreed.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm going to escort her back to the cell, but she can keep the teacup.
Hey! She gonna
Glass
get
of
given
tea.
some cakes?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're bringing food and drink down, and we're going to uncover Reginald so Reginald can have a look.
No!
You've doomed her. He's gonna eat her soul.
That's a war crime.
And this is when the torture begins.
That is a war crime.
Dun, 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 dun.
What have you done?
I'm feeding Reginald is what I'm doing, and then I'm going to cover Reginald back up. Is really what that is.
He lives in the darkness.
He does, and you know, he's been calmer since then, since we put him under the dark.
It's like a parrot.
He's like a parrot. It's okay.
Nighttime, go to sleep.
He's it's fine. But I am also I will have been putting together some notes. I'm sending one to the Azad Enclave, one to Paradise.
Yes.
One to Cataract at the Abamari, and I have the card from that guy who sold constructs like Torum, the Duras. I got a card from him back at the tavern while we were traveling.
Yeah.
And I have his contact information, so I'm sending a note to him and the Deep Dwarves, and just to bring it. And I'm gonna actually get one of our runners to go down to the Torturer's Tavern and send some of our people out to actually make
What are the notes? Are the notes just, hey?
The notes are, hi, basically explaining everything that has gone on in minimal detail. Essentially just the city was under attack. We're currently in the process of rebuilding and restructuring. I am essentially calling you for a meeting for the Treaty of the
So
Deep.
here's a neat thing. This was going to be a very important part of this campaign, but things went other directions.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that's kind of happened in Drow politics is that the Treaty of the Deep was a usurper elf thing. It was all here.
Yeah.
Then they basically made a new city to be the meeting place of the Treaty of the Deep, Kavanari. So that meeting should be at Kavanari.
Kavanari. And that is exactly what I'm going to suggest.
Okay.
And I am going to suggest how many days travel would it be for us to get there?
Whoa! 2.5 weeks or so.
2.5 weeks. Okay. So with that in mind, that is essentially what I will suggest is that in 2.5 weeks' time, giving us 3 weeks. So 2.5 weeks to sort things
when
out.
you get there, will be relevant.
Yes, exactly.
Don't
So
worry
essentially
too much
planning
about
the
that.
time for us to do the things we need to here, and
But
essentially
scheduling a distance to Kavanari. And of course, the drama being, this would be one of the things very important to, that was going to be the thing, is like, oh, the Drow don't like that Kavanari is where the Treaty of the Deep is set up now, because it gives them less control and gives the Dwarves more control, because it's right next to their territory.
Yep.
But maybe that'll be relevant in the future.
And that is exactly why I'm having it there and not calling them to the city. The
city's also mildly fucked.
Yes, that too. But yeah. But essentially,
they would just be unlikely to come if you said, "Hey, let's meet here." Or
yeah,
meet
essentially
at the place
just
designed
sending
for
out
meetings.
I'm sending out the feelers, and I'm also sending one to Kato, letting her know that I'm doing this, and saying this is a call that we need to make. I am going to take care of it. House Devescos is going to take care of it, but. And I'm actually going to tell her everything I intend on saying with that. Giving her full disclosure of we intend on trying to recontrol the Weavers using the Ronin and utilize them as an army for the Treaty of the Deep.
Awesome. I think this is a great place to take a little break. And then we'll be back in a moment. That's us going in our little car.
Here we go.